This is the very first sketchbook with 38 full pages that I have ever finished, and it wasn't for lack of trying. In today's video, I'll be showing you my sketchbook graveyard. There it is. All of these are unfinished, and I'll talk about why this particular sketchbook was finished after 20 months in total, and more about the why later in this video. Here is everything I learned and a glimpse at what progress actually looks like in real time. So this was originally going to be a sketch to painting type of sketchbook, but as you'll see with all of my side quests that I'm showing you, this didn't always happen. And by the way, that is still okay. I wasn't even going to share this sketchbook at all, but then I just kept making more art, and well, here we are. But I know what you're thinking. 20 months is a really long time for someone to take with finishing a sketchbook. Well, it's actually even more complicated than the usual life got in the way scenario. So to be more specific, I experienced one of the worst periods in my life, fighting a chronic illness that even today I'm still struggling to recover from. 5 years ago, I started this channel to document my art journey. I didn't expect anyone to really even notice my art. I found something that took me into a different world, a quiet place to escape the stress of life. And all I wanted to do was to help others find their own sanctuary like I had. Very little did I know that soon after starting my channel, I would be diagnosed with eczema. And especially this year, it has really taken a toll on me and affected every aspect of my life. In the beginning, it was not as severe, but in April this year, I experienced the worst flare of my entire life. A flare so bad that I'm still trying to get back on my feet again. There were days when drawing felt absolutely impossible, so this sketchbook feels like a personal victory for me because I'm finally turning the last page and showing you what's inside. This sketchbook began in October 2024, and I had no idea how long it would take to finish, but I was definitely excited and motivated to find out. I did go on a few painting side quests as I've shown you, but the main focus was to use ballpoint pens to make art from the more readily available materials so that there was no friction to creativity. With something like painting, you really do need to allocate that space and time for it, and to accommodate things like drying time or cleaning up. But with sketching, I had the freedom to do this anywhere, and I did often sketch while I was in my car waiting to pick up my kids after school, or alongside them when they would be doing homework in the evenings. I think having a sketchbook and not feeling too pressured about it helped me to actually complete it. So when I got to around the second half of working on this sketchbook, my eczema became increasingly difficult to manage, affecting my ability to sleep or even just function as a person. I've lived with eczema for around 4.5 years, but this year things just escalated sharply. And in April 2026, I experienced the worst flare I've ever had in my life. And trigger warning, if you are squeamish, please look away now. I'm sharing these photos because this experience is part of the story behind this sketchbook. And this was my reality of daily life at the time. Everything became harder, and even sleeping was impossible because of the itch and pain all over my face. There were many days in a row where I couldn't even think beyond simply getting through the day, showing up and still being a wife and a mom. But here's the strange thing, during that period, drawing somehow became more important than ever. Not because it could fix anything, but because of the power it held for me. When I sat down with this sketchbook, my attention suddenly shifted, and drawing allowed me to focus on something other than the pain from my skin. So instead of scratching, I was ignoring that, or trying to at least, and thinking about lines, shapes, textures, light, and more ideas. and for an hour or two I could exist somewhere else. The sketchbook became this small place of freedom, a place where my distress wasn't dominating the entire story. So even in my darkest moments, it called on me and brought me back to this small sanctuary where things other than sleeplessness and pain existed. So as we flip through these pages, you can really see me refining my pen strokes, making them softer and more blurred, experimenting with hatching and cross-hatching, and just adding to my own development as an artist. About 8 weeks ago, I started treatment with Dupixent injections, and for me, I can already see a difference. Recovery hasn't been perfect, but as things were slowly starting to improve, that was when I saw that finish line. And I made a run for it all the way to the very last page. And that is why this final page means so much to me, because it isn't just the end of a sketchbook. It's the end of a very painful and traumatizing chapter that I would rather forget. And when one chapter closes, another one begins, and I can't wait to show you all what's next. This is the last page, the page that took 20 months to reach. When I look through this sketchbook now, I don't just see drawings. I see evidence that I kept going, even when things were difficult, even when progress felt slow, even when I wasn't sure if or when things would get better. And that's what makes this sketchbook so special to me. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everyone who has followed this channel over the last 5 years. And thank you to everyone who is quietly dealing with challenges that other people may never fully see or understand. This sketchbook is finished. A new one is waiting, and for the first time in a long while, I'm excited to see what comes next.